Okay. You have the notes, but never mind. Your brain is also notes. Okay, I want to do two topics today, which is repro in plants as well as reproduction in humans. Alright? So, first thing, let's talk about reproduction in plants first. For reproduction in plants, we need to learn your three things. Number one is the structures of the flowers, okay? Number two is always about your pollination, and number three is your fertilization. Now, so let's go through. For your plants, the moment, right, the plants have flowers, can we say that, again, what kind of reproduction the plants is capable of undergoing? The moment you have flowers, you always can undergo sexual reproduction, okay? So later you will see, right, later we have self-pollination, we have cross-pollination, regardless, right, both of them will always have, okay, sexual reproduction, or considered to have sexual reproduction. Now, let's say, right, sometimes we have a plant that can be unisexual. So let's say if we only have male parts, again, for male parts, let's ask, what's the name for the male parts called collectively? Start S. Yes, stamen. So the stamen comprises of what, dear? So we always it contains your anthers, which is actually where it makes your pollen grains as well as your filament. Okay, now, so again, this one is collectively known as stamen. Hello. Now, again, same thing. Sometimes we can have bisexual flowers. So bisexual flowers is where we have the female parts. Desiree, what's the female part collectively called? Multitask. Start with C. Oh no. Couple? Yes, couple. Alright. So again, couple is also another one. Okay, so couple always comprise of your stigma. Alright, your style, as well as your ovary. So this collectively will be known as your couple. Please note, every ovary you have ovules. Sometimes a single ovary can have more than one ovule, and each ovule will always contain an ovum. Plural is ova. So please know the terms here. So plural is ova. Alright? Now, so this is your flower here. Again, for this part, take note, we have flowers that can be unisexual. Some flowers can be bisexual, but it really depends what kind of flowers will have, okay, what certain kind of characteristics in order to undergo what we call self-pollination or cross-pollination. Okay, come, let's go through. So, let's learn the definition of self-pollination. First, can you tell me, Desiree, what's the definition of self-pollination? Is the transfer
of pollen grains
from
anther to stigma
of the same
flower
or can be a
different flower of the same plant.
Yeah, so it can also be a different flower of the same plant. But must, again, same thing, this is also called self-pollination. Understand? Cross-pollination, on the other hand, definition is what? Stephanie? Transfer from another plant. Okay, must be of the same species or can be different species. Must be same, right? You don't have a sunflower pollen grain land on the papaya flower, then become some papaya, right? Agree? So no such thing, right? So again, learn this. So let's go through for self-pollination. So since we already know self-pollination is can be this, can also be this. But can I say the offsprings that these flowers actually produce, especially those that where your stigma is pollinated, where your stigma is pollinated, can I say the offspring are genetically identical?
No.
Why cannot? So why offspring here can also be called genetically non-identical? What is taking place? What kind of repro? So again, sexual reproduction is taking place, right? If you have sexual reproduction, what kind of process will you actually undergo? Due to what? Any idea? Not sure? You? Stephanie? Is what? Oh, yeah, what? Again, sorry? What kind of fertilization? Keyword? Random fertilization of gametes. Okay? Or it can be also what? Cell division to form your male and gametes and female gametes, meiosis. So I repeat, okay, so we have your this self-pollination here. Self-pollination, do take note. Again, we have your offsprings are never going to be genetically identical, okay? They are going to be genetically non-identical because the genetic variation will occur from meiosis, which is the cell division that takes place to form your gametes. We have crossing over as well as independent assortment, as well as random fertilization or fusion of gametes. Understand? Because we have different types of pollen grains that contains different types of your male gametes here, and then they will fuse with different types of ovum as well. So that's why they are not going to be genetically identical. But you should know cross-pollination will always have a greater genetic variation. Understand? Clear? Now, let's go through. Ready? Satu, dua. There are again two factors in which we can identify as evidence that this plant or this flower most likely undergoes self-pollination. What is it, dear? Satu, dua. First one? Both male and female stamen, and so you will say stigma and anthers will mature at the same time. Yes, so both will actually mature at the same time. Okay, now this is one. Second one is what, dear? If you have bisexual flowers, yes, when they both mature at the same time, we can have self-pollination. What's the second one?
Is it when
where is the stigma located? Either
below
the
anther,
or it can be also close to the anther. So both are acceptable. Understand? Next one, cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is always facilitated by the two agents called what? Insect and? Okay, can you now tell me? 1, 2, 3, 4. What is actually, okay, the factors that will promote cross-pollination? First factor, if let's say I have bisexual flowers, so happen, what happens? The anthers and stigma may not. Yes, so the anthers and stigmas may not mature at the same time. Second one is what, dear? Yes, so stigmas are located way above your anthers. Why she take your point now? Never mind, we also got another one. Let's say if it does actually have a pollen grain land on the stigma. Will the pollen grain germinate?
No.
That is called
Rejection.
Self-rejection. Self-incompatibility. What is the word again? Called?
Self-incompatibility.
What does it mean? If let's say in exam you cannot remember, at least write down the definition. It means the pollen grains that land
On the stigma.
of the same
Plant.
flower or of the same plant will not. That is the idea. Next one is what? This one, you see I clearly draw one plant only have the male flowers, one plant only have the female flowers, called what? Start with D. You know? Oi. Dioecious. Understand? Dioecious, remember, it's in your notes. It means that the plant either only has all male flowers or only all female flowers, but they only have one type of unisexual flowers. So all this will promote this cross-pollination. Understand? Okay, come, let's try. Stephanie, can you now tell me? Self-pollination, however, there are some advantages of self-pollination, right? What is one advantage of having self-pollination? Two advantages. 1, 2. First one is what? Require only one plant, one parent, alright? Agree? So you only require only one plant, okay, one parent. What's the rate of successful pollination? Compared with cross and self, which one is higher? Self-pollination. So again, we can say how this kind of pollination has higher successful. Yes. Okay. So higher successful pollination is also another one. Alright. So do you think that we will actually need to produce a lot of pollen grains in order for pollination to occur? Let's think about that. No. So again, will you actually help save energy and resources? Yes. So that is also an advantage. Okay? Desiree, My eyes here. So I gave you one thing, cross-pollination. Always have higher what?
Genetic variation.
Okay, this is not the way I asked you to write, right? Elaborate with effort is what, dear? Higher GV or higher genetic variation will
Increase
chances
chances of survival
of a,
species
especially,
during environmental changes.
that is the full way you write for exam. Stephanie, what about your this seeds that is developed from here? The seeds formed are more viable means they can survive prior to so the seeds here produced are more viable, so they can survive longer prior to germination. Understand? Okay, Jill, can you now tell me? Again, this is very important. Cross-pollination. Name me the top two. What is it again? Get it in your head. Number one, increase.
Genetic variation.
To increase.
To increase chances of survival during environment.
Of a what?
Of
a
species.
Yes, especially during.
Environmental change.
Yes. Next one. The second thing is seeds formed are more.
Viable.
Can survive
Longer.
prior to.
Germination.
Yes. Okay. So take note. Now, tell me what are the two agents of pollination. And.
Insect.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's what? Can you now tell me? First one. What is the first difference between your this insect and wing? By the way, give me an example of an insect pollinated flower. Wait, you are from a girls' school. You confirm celebrate your this Valentine's Day. So it's what? Rose is also one. Hibiscus, anything? How about a wing pollinated flower? Name me an example. If you cannot remember the word Istromumuticum, what is the one that I gave you? Start with D. That one you blow, then the thing will fly. Called is what?
Daisy.
Huh? Daisy! That is a wind insect pollinated flower. Apparently you did celebrate Valentine's Day. Now again, I'm talking about this one. Okay, the one with the two, a lot of look like the ball like shape. Start with D. Called what? Dandy.
Oh, dandelion.
Yes, dandelion is also another one. Okay, so take note. Okay, come. Enough time to think. What's the first difference between the insect pollinated flower and wind pollinated flower?
Insect pollinated flower got bright colored petals.
Okay, and what must you mention? Two characteristics, not only brightly colored but also large to
Attract insects.
correct. How about the wing?
Dull or no petals.
Usually in the form of side B, bracts. Okay, so remember, sometimes usually in the form of bracts. So this one here is called your bract. Okay? Okay, now, next one. Can you now tell me, Stephanie, what else? Between the insect pollinated flower and wind pollinated flower? Oh, I really literally drawing for you. So it's what? Wind. Oh, sorry. Large and? You must write large and stick. Stigma. Why? What do you write for exam? To increase surface. To volume. For pollen grains carried by the. Okay. How about insect pollinated flower? What's the stigma like? You will say stigma is small and compact, and then you say, just now you say, sticky. Why? Why must be sticky? So that, yes, or pollen grains that land on it will not get easily displaced. Understand? Okay, name me another difference.
Stamens are long and pendulous.
Okay, why must be long and pendulous? So you can release what? When in presence of what? Yes, whereas how do you describe the stamen of your insect pollinated flower?
Not pendulous.
And then, reason why? Usually does it protrude?
No.
So you say does not protrude. Okay, name me another one. The pollen grains for the insect pollinated flower. Pollen grains for the insect are large and with
hooks.
no, not necessary. With
Rough surfaces
in order
to catch.
cling.
Cling onto animal. I mean,
Animals visit the flower. Cling onto the what?
The and the wait,
Can you calm down? This is what pollinator flower.
insect.
Okay,
Oh,
so to cling onto the
insect.
bodies. Next one, for the wing. How do you describe your this pollen grains? Pollen grains are much more.
More
And then what's the B word? So it can float.
buoyant.
Buoyant, so it can be carried by the
Wind.
yes, currents of the wind. Okay, next one. Very simple. Pollinator flower. Ah? Where's the other one? Obviously. Yes. Next one is what? Jer?
Nectar guides.
They have nectar guides as well as presence of.
Nectar.
For which one?
Insect one.
For wind, eh?
Nectar guides are not present.
Then does it have nectar then? No nectar as well. Understand? So remember, okay? Now, question is, Desiree, can you tell me, is pollination the same as fertilization?
No.
No, pollination is about what?
The movement.
Transfer.
Transfer of pollen grains
From?
from anther to stigma.
Okay, from anthers to stigma, okay, within the same flower or to another flower of different plants, right? Whereas fertilization is
Yeah.
about what?
Fusion
Of?
nuclei
That means your male
and female
gametes will fuse with the female gamete and you will form what?
zygote.
Yes, the zygote. Okay? Now, so we need to learn your this fertilization. Briefly know how to describe fertilization at least. Let's talk about this. This is your stigma. You should know by now. Followed by your style. Followed by my this ovary. We know that those that ovary, question is, this is for you, Stephanie. Notice how I only draw one ovule here. We already learned each ovule, they actually have an ovum. Alright? This is opening up through what we call the micropyle. Micropyle is like the door, the doorway into your this ovule. But anyway, my question is, a flower can actually have multiple ovules, right? Right? Yes, yes. The question is, in each ovule they contain an ovum. Must every single ovum or ova in each ovules of the same ovary, must it be fertilized in order for this entire thing to develop into a fruit? No. Why? Neat. You think about this, huh? You know the zygote will eventually form what? The seed, right? Huh? This one formed from the seed, ma? Agree? So for example, right, your entire ovary will develop into the fruit, ma. But do you learn that there are some fruits that has many seeds? Right? Like papaya, like your this, or what else? Cannot think of. Tomato, okay, your this apple, your orange, all have multiple seeds, what? So your ovules, okay, the ovum in each ovule must be actually fertilized. If they are not fertilized, they just don't become a seed. Understand? So take note, Okay, now let's go through this. Now, whenever a pollen grain actually lands on it, let's start out with the first one. So pollen grains, one thing I want you to take note of is you can see how this particular pollen grain starts to germinate to form this pollen tube here, right? If I were to zoom in, okay, let's talk about the pollen grains first. In each pollen grain, we actually have two types of nucleus. The first nucleus that helps you control the growth of this pollen tube is called what? Can you tell me? The name very generic. What nucleus is this called? To form your pollen tube. To form pollen tube. So it's called what nucleus? To form pollen tube. I don't know how much I can say so you can understand. To form pollen tube is what? No. Pollen tube nucleus. Okay, so the pollen tube nucleus is the one that will control the growth of the pollen tube. Understand? We also have another nucleus. All this will actually form the one that can become my male gametes. Actually, there are two male gametes, okay, for you to take note that each pollen grain will always carry, but only one male gamete will fuse with your ovum, only one. Okay, now let's go through. The question is, Drill, can you tell me what causes this pollen tube to actually, or pollen grain to actually germinate so I can form my pollen tube? So So the stigma is here, right? Must make sure it's compatible, right? So what is the fluid secreted by the stigma that will cause your pollen grain to germinate? Not sure. If you look at your first bullet point on your second page, third column is what? Stigma?
Sugary fluid.
Yes. So what the stigma secretes?
Sugary fluid.
That will cause the germination of the pollen grain. So when your pollen grain germinate, you will start to form this pollen tube here. What controls the growth of the pollen tube?
The pollen tube nucleus.
Okay, what does the pollen tube nucleus actually do? Secrete what? Enzymes. To what? Tell me. To digest
The tissues of the style.
and the stigma. Understand? So the idea, they will digest tissues of style and stigma. Just to let you know, your pollen tube is going to be a hollow tube. Alright? So it will actually elongate until it reaches here. Okay? So this is what happens, and along the way, your male gametes will be transported until it reaches the micropyle. Okay? So let's go through again. Drill, can you now tell me how do you actually form the pollen tube? Oh, sorry. Again, how does the pollen grain germinate? Step by step. Stigma. Just now your point. Secretes.
Secretes sugary fluid.
Which will cause the pollen grain to
Germinate.
Okay, then next one, what do you say? The
Pollen tube nucleus.
secretes
Enzymes
do
digest the tissues of the stigma and the style.
to elongate the pollen tube until to the ovule where it reaches the micropyle, right? So at the micropyle, how does this male gamete enter? The pollen tube will, what do you see in number 5? Pollen tube absorb what? Cell set, and then this will burst to release the male gamete into your ovule. So one of the male gamete, what must you say, dear? Will fuse to form which will eventually develop to form the embryo of the seed. Understand? So take note. Okay, here. So is fertilization the same as this pollination? Clear? No. Pollination is transfer of pollen grains. Fertilization is fusion of male gametes and female gametes. Clear? Okay. Now, so this is actually the main short chapter we need to just go through, but can we just pass down first? Here, let me pass down. Okay, I want to go through one question review, and then the rest of it, you all do your respective questions for me to mark up. Okay, can we do question 3 together, class? Okay, they asked me to identify each of the structures A to D. So let's see A first. What is A actually? Oh, the one foolscap paper is in front. So A is actually pointing to what? Can you tell me, Desiree? What is A actually pointing to that you have see all the dot. Okay, why not I ask a simple question now? Okay, this one, you can see what happens to the dot, which are the pollen grains, right? Over time, right? So there are fewer and fewer pollen grains, but if A is the one that holds the pollen grain, most likely A is referring to what? Yes, so A is actually the anthers. B is what? Can you tell me, Stephanie? B is pointing to what? Sorry? Style. Very good. What about C? Can you tell me, Drea? What is C pointing to? You see, we have, again, the whole thing is your ovary, but C is pointing to what? Look like very similar. Which one? Ovule. And you can see this flower seems to have 2 ovules. Next one, how about D? Desiree?
The stigma.
Yes, the stigma. So, do you think the stigma has matured in the first diagram there, Desiree?
No.
No. So, whereas this anther can produce the pollen grain, right? So, what does this trying to indicate? Anthers and stigma?
Mature at different times.
Mature at different times. Very good. Okay, come. Let's go through this. They say from the figure, that means I need to code data. But let's see first. Suggest and explain the type of pollination the flower is involved in. Can you tell me, Stephanie, what kind of pollination the flower is involved in? Cross or this self-pollination? Sorry? What you say? Cross-pollination. So we know 1 mark, right, is definitely state the right pollination, right? But the next question will be, so this is for you, The next question will be, again, you know 3 marks is for explain, right? Usually explain is that we usually use the keyword technique or the overview point technique, right? So Drea, can you tell me, will I be using the keyword technique or the overview point technique here? So do I want to use keyword or overview? So if you say keyword, what are the keywords so that the 3 marks can be delegated accordingly? Cannot, right?
Yeah.
Why not I ask you? Okay, we do step by step. So that's why this is the overview point, right? Okay, so overview point, I said before, the first sentence is like answer the question directly, right? Agree? So how come do you say it is actually your this cross-pollination? Because from the figure, what do we see? And observe the evidence.
The anthers are
And stigmas are maturing.
Oh, at different times.
Mature at different times. So anthers and stigmas are maturing at different times, so it's unlikely for self-pollination to occur, right? That will be your first sentence, right? Later I'll go through. I just want you all to discuss first. Okay? Now, so let's see. Can you tell me, how do I elaborate from that point then? Because the remaining is 2 marks, alright? So how do I learn that? Or how do I know this 2 marks? How is it going to be delegated? How pollination occurs here? 2 marks will be what?
Data.
But she already quote data. What? Anthers and stigma mature at different times. What other data can you quote? Cannot, right? So what do you think we actually can quote? So is that, how do we have this pollination? This is usually by what kind of pollination?
Insect.
Okay, so what must you say? The insects must visit
Visit the flower.
with mature. Which one first?
Mature and tall.
Do you see or you hear that I say that must write the word mature? Because they already say how they mature at different times, right? So the insect must first visit the mature anthers for the pollen grains to be
Transferred.
to the bodies of the insect. Then again, Stephanie, how do you elaborate for the last point? The insect will then need to visit what? Flower with mature stigma, okay, for pollination to occur. So do you all see already? Please learn. Always ask yourself, is it keyword technique or the overview point technique? Okay, so the first sentence is, as long as you tell me cross-pollination by insects, I will give you 1 mark. Because that's a suggest. Always elaborate with effort.
You need to say inside.
If not, how you going to explain the last 2 points? Right. Okay, next. And some more you can tell. Okay, but another one is, you all see I have the first sentence. The first sentence you will say, the stigma and anthers mature at different times. Hence, self-pollination is unlikely to occur. Again, this will be your first overview point. Stigma and anthers mature at different times. Hence, self-pollination is unlikely to occur. Third bullet point, we need to start to elaborate. Okay, how do we therefore have pollination via the insects? Okay, so you can say when insects visit flower with mature anthers, underline the word mature anthers, because I don't want to just say anther. Anthers may be disintegrating, as you can see in your this figure, the third figure. Okay, so again, when insects visit the flower with mature anthers, pollen grains can be transferred to the bodies of insects. Pollen grains can be transferred to the bodies of insects. Last bullet point, you have to actually elaborate. Okay, then you will say insects then visit flower with mature stigma. I repeat, insect then visits flower with mature stigma for pollination to occur. For pollination to occur. Okay? Mature stigma is the keyword. So always short and sweet. So Drea, I already feedback to you. Short and sweet. Okay? Okay, come. Each one of you will do your respective questions for me to mark. Do you see we have question 4 and question 8? Desiree and Drea, you'll do question 4 and question 8. Stephanie, you'll do question 5 and question 8. Once you're done, let me mark.
what do they mean by reproduction involving flowers?
Keyword reproduction, only 2 types of repro. What are the 2 types?
Cross. Asexual and asexual.
Yeah, sexual and asexual. What cross? So sexual and asexual lor. So what is the type of reproduction these flowers have? The moment you have flowers is what kind of repro?
Sexual.
Yeah. So again, they're asking what's the advantage of sexual reproduction, right? You should know the standard answer. Once you're done, let me mark questions. Better use this time to ask. Once you're done, let me mark what question you're still starting to ask. Any problems?
Is it like must specifically use U and E?
Yeah.
So I cannot see like both contain milk meat.
Your tail where got milk meat?
Oh.
Tail no milk meat there. Tail is part of the milk meat. What do you mean
No,
contain?
cause I thought like can use the protein.
But both actually transports
The
milk
milk meat.
towards the
Over.
for
Fertilization.
yeah lor.
Mm.
You're welcome. So hopefully you know compare and contrast is always how many similarity, how many differences in this case? Huh?
Okay,
One similarity, one differences, right? Because you can see the next one is explain how the structures allow for successful fertilization, right? Stephanie, you done? No? difference. How many male gametes the U will contain?
But V got contain.
So you say that U can only help transport how many male gametes?
2,
The other one?
1.
Yeah lah.
Oh.
Okay, quick. I want to do humans, reproduce humans, and then I can be done.
Then how do I explain that it only transport?
What do you? Oh, how do you? They are not asking you how it allows for successful fertilization. Like you, what does it do? It actually transports male gametes towards the what? To enter the ovum, ovule or ovum? Ovule through the what?
Micropower.
Micropyle, so that the male gamete can
Enter the
fertilize the ovum. Understand? So it is just because it's just 1 mark for each structures how they allow for successful fertilization. What? And the other one you should know what? Tail is always what? Propel. Okay? Then, very much. Thank you. Oh wait, survival of what?
oh species.
Of a species. You mean survival of an organism? No, right? Like for example, you want to go exam suddenly, will you actually have bigger brain? No, what, right? Agree? So again, we're saying of a species. Anthers and flowers. Okay. So insect needs to visit what? So what does insect need to do? Why the mature one? That means able to allow for transfer. You are very vague in your answer. This is very similar to just now how I explained one. So if you have mature anthers, that means insect need to visit the flower A, so that pollen
Pollen can
transfer to the,
insect body.
and then after that, second one is that you can then visit what? Flower,
Flower B.
okay, with the,
Mature stigma.
so that pollen grains can,
Transfer.
yeah, or pollinate. You understand? So again, I cannot give you a single credit here. No, you have large petals is, actually I will accept but the large petals is usually to act as a landing platform. But again, how many marks is this there?
2.
Then what other marks can you say? Hello, you got another one you also can mention. Now let's see, they ask you for, based on the information, which one is likely. So in A, in B, so B, right, you say no insect visits, percentage of this flower is 0, so unable to self-pollinate, I will give you 1 mark. The second thing is you fail to quote the other data. If you have 29 insect visits, what's the percentage of flowers bearing fruits?
95.
And then what does this indicate? That B undergoes
Insect.
cross-pollination via insects. That will be the full one. And because of that, I cannot give you the full credit. Student is incorrect. Yes. Yes. Fine, I can accept. male gametes to ovum for fertilization. How about your differences left?
It's yellow.
Then that is your successful fertilization, what? Oh, wait.
The last.
Oh, transfer 2 male gametes, transfer 1 male gamete. Okay, fine. Next one, secretes enzyme to digest tissues or stigma and style. So we can actually grow. Enter style, enter ovule or style.
Ovule.
So I cannot give you that mark. So sperm, so that propels sperm to its ovum for fertilization. I'll give you your 3 marks here. Okay, who else? You can try question 5 or waiting. Okay. So we say pollen grains, relatively smoother surface, very good. The other one, rougher surface. Can the other one's much smaller. As long as you tell me smaller, I will give you the credit already. Next one. So large feathery stigma is for what? Increased surface area to volume ratio. Not, oh, okay, sure. Next one, pendulous stamen to sway easily and release pollen grains. Very good. I will accept. Okay. 0 insect visits, 0%. Now, when you say 0 insect visits, 0%, what does this actually mean? Because again, why is it actually 3 marks? 1 mark is obviously the correct plant one, right? 2 marks is actually explained, right? But you know that we need to code data, right? But they are just nice 2 sets of data we need to code for B one, like why you chose B one, right? So the first one is why B is 0 insect visits, 0% means what? You never explain what does that mean. It means that self-pollination could not have occurred. You understand? And then the other one, you tell me 29 visits for the 95%, so it's insect pollinated. I will give you the credit for that. Okay? This one not correct. Yes, undergo self-pollination. So meiosis still occurs, random fertilization and gametes occur. So however, you never tell me sexual reproduction is still taking place. Okay, so sexual reproduction is the 1 mark. Then later, why sexual reproduction will have. Then you say meiosis and random fertilization of gametes. Okay? This one win, yes, large. Oh, I will not accept if you just stick. I want you to elaborate to provide large surface area to volume ratio. Understand? Next one, you say you and this. Long extensions. So it allows male gamete to be transferred to the female gamete. Fine, I accept. Ovum. So how does the pollen tube, I think you are talking about how you'll enable you for successful fertilization, right? So what does the pollen tube do? You have enzymes to digest tissues of the style, to transport male gametes to enter the ovule for fertilization. So I want to see at least the process, 1 mark process. The other one propels the sperm to swim towards the reach the egg cell. I accept this one. You doesn't carry 1 gamete. You carries 2. I think you mapos already. Don't die dear. It's U or V, ah? V, correct. V is carries 1. Then the U carries 1. More than 1, right? You right. Wait, what are you at? Oh, okay. And then, again, same thing, I only can give you 3. Okay. Clear, done?
How do you do part D?
Part D. First of all, you know what U is pointing to?
The pollen tube.
And then V?
The
Fleur.
tail.
The tail or the flagellum, right? So now they ask you compare and contrast. That means similarity and difference, right? How many similarity, how many difference? Because the explain one is another side, part of the answer.
1 similarity.
Okay, do you know at least the similarity and difference? So let's ask similarity, both is trying to transport what? Gametes to the O. For
Fertilization.
yeah, so what's the difference then? You will carry or transport how many male gametes? What did I say? Every pollen grain contains how many male gametes?
2.
Yeah, then the V is helping transport how many male gametes?
1.
You understand? So again, transporting only 1 male gamete.
But I thought B is the tail and like it allows it to.
But you transport what? You need the tail to transport what? You understand? And then how you transport, okay, allow for successful fertilization is just 1 mark each. Okay? Okay. For those who are waiting, you can either take a break or do the other question, because later you'll be helping me for that. Okay, let's see. Increases genetic variation. Yes, increases chances of survival of a species during environmental changes. Very good. Contains anthers, they are mature. So, what does this mean? So this one, right, you must always tell me, okay, you have mature anthers, sure. But they're asking how pollination will occur, ma? So you must visit which flower first? Flower A first with mature anthers, right? So when the insect visits flowers A with mature anthers means what? You don't just tell me release pollen grain needed for pollination. So how does pollination actually occur? So you need to actually have the insect visit flower A with mature anthers so that pollen grains can be transferred to the bodies of the insect. That will be your first mark, what? And then next you must visit which flower? Flower B, because it has mature. So pollen grains can be transferred to the stigma for pollination. This is the way I want you to write, but you never tell me because you're just merely telling me for what is mature. Again, for your this B, what is actually, you not even say that it has mature stigma. So a lot of vague answers here. Okay, so always want to craft your answers, just answer directly. Okay, this one resemble a baby. Okay, fine, the flowers, the petals in fact. Okay, the tracks, fine, but how many marks is this? How many features they looking for? So one more thing is what? Nectary lah. So there's another point you're missing. By the way, your 8 is wrong. It's not flower A. You know why? Flower A, right? Even if I have 0 insect visits, I still can bear fruits. Do you think cross-pollination can occur by insects? No. And then one more thing is, if I actually have 0 insect visits, okay, and then later I have bear fruits, what is the pollination that can occur for A? How can we win? It's insect. Because they already say, if you look in the paragraph in front, they are all in bud stage. That means even though got wing cannot transfer pollen grains because the flowers are all in bud stage. You understand? So your 1 is wrong. Next, student is incorrect. 0 visits. No, it's not because by wind. The idea is that how come if you have self-pollination? So this one is now you know why, right? So they are asking self-pollination, why still you can have genetically identical offspring? Because as long as you have flowers, what kind of reproduction is that taking place? Sexual. So sexual will have always meiosis and random fertilization. Understand? Long and pendulous statements. Don't give me just long and pendulous, elaborate that. Carries 1 male gamete, carries 2 male gamete. Fine, I accept. Both carries male gamete to this, allows for fertilization. Yes. Then you never thought about the other 2 marks. So I only can give you maximum 2 marks because you only tell me differences and similarity. The other 2 marks is to explain how they allow for successful fertilization. You understand? Okay, come class, I want to go through. Whatever questions I never get to go through, I'll send the answers to your respective class group chat. Okay? Later, the answers for 8 is not present. Okay, so I'll just verbally tell you the answers. But anyway, let's go through this question 4 and 5. Oh yeah, before I go through, can you help me start this respective question so you can use this as a studying material? Ready? Number 1, help me circle 1C part 2. Next one, help me circle 2B. Next one, help me circle 3B. As well as 4B. Please also help me circle 8A part 1 and part 3. Okay? Okay, come, let's go through question 4 first. So question 4, they say suggest one advantage of reproduction involving flowers. So one advantage of reproduction involving flowers is, again, reproduction only 2 types, asexual or sexual. The moment you have flowers, you are already sexual reproduction. And then first, number 1 advantage of sexual reproduction, we will always write is what? Increase GV, because you increase what?
Chances of survival of a species.
Yes, very good. Continue. Especially
in environmental change.
Okay, next one, Stephanie. If this is 2 marks, then what else can you also write? Forms viable seeds. You not continue for me. Can survive longer. Yes, okay. Okay, so next one, part B. They say flowers are cross-pollinated by insects. So they gave you this first sentence already. Explain why insect must visit flower A first before visit flower B. This is using the keyword technique or the overview point technique drill. Tell me whether Stephanie is right or wrong, because I never get the mark for her. So can you tell me using the keyword technique or the overview point technique for this question? Keyword technique?
Yeah.
Yes, keyword is what, Stephanie? And then second keyword, flower bee. You understand? So how the marks are delegated, can you help me write down again? Number 1, you must say, insect needs to visit flower A with mature anthers. I repeat, insect needs to visit flower A with mature anthers for pollen grains to be transferred to the bodies of insect. I repeat, insect needs to visit flower A with mature anthers for pollen grains to be transferred to the body of insects. Second bullet point, then later you talk about your flower bee, right? So again, insect then visits flower bee for pollen grains to pollinate the mature stigma. I repeat, insect needs to visit flower bee for pollen grains to pollinate the mature stigma. Understand? Now, question. Stephanie, can I say like for this flower, they say that suggests how they are adapted, okay, via insect pollination. Can I say brightly colored? No, because all grayscale, okay, but can I at least say large petals? How about if I say the flower shaped like female bee to attract male bees? Can, because they're actually shaped like a female bee, yeah? So again, either than that, I can give you the credit, but the next thing is, you need to tell me how many adaptations, Stephanie? 2. So I want to see 2 adaptations. The question is, large petals is for what purpose?
Landing pad.
Yes, large petals is serve as landing platform for insects. Brightly colored is usually to attract insects. The next kind of adaptation I can accept is what, Drea? Presence of nectar. Can I say the stigma is actually small and compact and sticky? Can I say that the stamen does not protrude? Because you can see in flower A, flower B, they remove the petals. How will you know? Am I right? So again, I only can accept nectary. So you can say nectary found within the flower to serve as food to attract insects. Elaborate with effort. So I want to see 2 adaptations here. Okay, come let's look at question 5. Sorry. Oh, to provide food to attract insects. Sorry. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So we have here 2 differences between pollen grains from plant 1 and plant 2. Alright, so again, they say with reference to, what must I do? Desiree? Yes, code data. So again, they ask you to state 2 differences between the pollen grains in plant 1 and plant 2. First data I can quote is what, Drea? Second one, you tell me,
Like the pollen grain of plant 1 is smooth.
You don't write smooth, Does it look smooth to you? You write comparative first, call smoother. Understand? So the other one has rougher surface. Clear? Don't say smooth, clearly not smooth. So again, you can say how pollen grain in plant 1 has smoother surfaces, whereas pollen grain in plant 2 has rougher surface. Then I can accept. Okay, whenever you're ready, Desiree, tell me another difference.
Pollen grain in plant 1 is smaller than pollen grain from plant 2.
Yes, pollen grain in plant 1 smaller than plant 2, or you can say vice versa, up to you. I will give you the first 2 marks already. Okay, next one, they want you to do structure features and then explain, so you should know state and then explain state and explain. This is how the 4 marks are delegated, right? Agree? So, Drea, whenever you're ready, what is first structure feature that I can say besides pollen grains? Oh, wait. That's this one.
Feathery.
What? Which one? Plant 1 has?
Plant 1 has a feathery.
Keyword is what? large and feathery. Yes, 2. Now you need to explain, right? 2,
To
increase
increase surface area.
to volume ratio 2,
Cling onto.
capture or catch, pull, learn, much more. Why must increase surface area to volume ratio? So you can catch pollen grains more. Yeah, elaborate with effort. Okay, so pollen grains can be captured more easily. So again, increase surface area to volume ratio to catch pollen grains more easily. Next one, you. What's another structural feature that I can say for your these plants?
The anther is hanging out of the.
In plant 1, what do you say about the stamen? Start with P.
Pendular.
Yes, so the stamens in plant 1 is?
Pendular.
Where stamens is, sorry, why must it be pendulous? Can you now tell me?
The wind. Greens.
Why are you speaking like Yoda? Hello, can you tell me why must it be pendulous? So you can sway and
Release.
pollen grains captured by the
Wind.
currents of the wind. Okay, in presence of wind. So I repeat, pendulous stamen is the next one for 5B. And then you will say how, okay, is to release pollen grains in presence of wind. Okay, let's look at question 8 right now. Okay, for question 8, right, it's a unique question because we have 2 species of plant, A and B. They say all the A1 and B1, their flowers are not yet blue. So the stigma and the stamens are not exposed to the surroundings, and they are all kept within greenhouse so that no insects are able to visit them. Next one, B2 and A2 are flowers that are blue. Means the stamen and the stigmas are all exposed. Alright? And now they also allow insect visits because it's out wide in the open. Alright? So they gave you, okay, evidence from your A1, A2, B1, B2. And now from there they say that which is more likely to depend on cross-pollination, your answer should be B. So again for A part 1, again how the 3 marks are delegated. First mark for the right plant. The next 2 marks is actually to explain. But then the question is, do you see got based on the information? So how do we delegate the marks accordingly? Do you see based on information got 2 evidence? So I have to state all the 2 evidence and explain the next evidence and explain. Understand? So now can you all help me write the answer first, please? First one you must say is plant B, yeah? So I'll just give you the answers for the explain. Second bullet point, can you write there are 0 insect visits, 0% of flowers bearing fruits. I repeat, there are 0% of flowers bearing fruits when there is 0 insect visits in B1. There is 0% of flowers bearing fruits when there is 0 insect visits in B1, indicating self-pollination could not have occurred. Keyword is self-pollination could not have occurred. Second bullet point is the next data that we quote. There is 95% of flowers bearing fruits when there are 29 insect visits. I repeat, there are 95% of flowers bearing fruits when there are 29 insect visits, indicating B undergoes cross-pollination via insects. Indicating B undergoes cross-pollination via insects. Okay, so this is how the 3 marks are delegated. Next one, A part 2. I think most of you can do, but let's just go through. They again ask you whether identical, so you should know 1 mark is whether you agree or disagree, so I'll say that it's incorrect. You all should know it's also incorrect. Reason why, so 2 marks is to explain, right? Agree? So first one, you must tell me, plant A undergoes sexual reproduction. Just by saying the word sexual reproduction, I'll give you 1 mark already. However, the second mark for the explain is to elaborate how come sexual reproduction will actually form genetically non-identical offspring. Because you will say the last bullet point, during sexual reproduction, there is meiosis and random fertilization of gametes. I want to see both. There is meiosis and random fertilization of gametes to form genetically non-identical offsprings. Understand? Next one. C, can you tell me, Drea, whenever you're ready, what is the type of pollination? No. That's why, right? Let's ask again now. Desiree, we have self-pollination, insect pollination, and then your wind pollination plants via cross-pollination. Out of these three, which one has the highest success rate of pollination? I repeat, self-pollination, cross-pollination via insects, cross-pollination via wind. Out of these three, which one is the highest success rate of pollination?
Insect.
Self. Why self, Stephanie? Only involves one parent. You understand? Then Stephanie, which is the one that has the least success rate of pollination out of the three? Cross-pollination via wind. Why? Sometimes. Yeah, lor. So again, the window for wind, right, is usually very narrow. Agree? So chances or likelihood of wind will also not be high. Another thing is directional wind may also, okay, not be in the direction where your this flowers with stigma are located. You understand? Do you see why the percentage is low? So what is again one characteristics of C? Because 1 mark for telling me that it's wind pollinated. Second mark is one characteristics for any wind. What can we say, Drea? Always elaborate with effort.
Long and pendulous stigmas.
To release
To release pollen
in presence of.
wind.
Yes, I want to see the full answer that I made your chant in class. Okay, you also can say large and feathery stigma. Then what do you do to elaborate, Desiree?
Increase surface area to pollen ratio to catch the pollen grains
More easily. Very good. Okay, Cam, let's go through B. What is structure you pointing to, Stephanie? And then V. Yes, very good. Now let's see. For your U and V, they ask for compare and contrast the two structures. And then not only that, they say explain how structures U and V allow for successful fertilization. So in other words, how is the marks delegated? You already should know the explain part, the two keywords. One keyword should be about U, one keyword should be about V. Already 1 mark each already, right? So if compare and contrast is always about similarity and differences, you should know 1 mark is for similarity, 1 mark for differences. Understand? So I'm going to give you all the similarity and differences. First similarity you can write is both U and V transports male gametes to ovum for fertilization. Is the similarity I will accept. Another thing, if you write that both are long extensions, I also will accept. But it's a poor one. Okay, differences. First difference you can say U transports 2 male gametes, while V transports 1 male gamete. Okay?
How come got 2?
Male gamete, because every pollen grain contains 2 male gamete. Okay? Next one. Let's explain. So how you explain for U? You should know already. To explain for U, answer should just simply be this U will gain enzymes will digest tissues of stigma and style. For U to elongate or pollen tube to elongate to the ovule. For pollen tube to elongate to the ovule in order for male gametes to enter and fertilize ovum. In order for male gametes to enter and fertilize ovum. Okay, then structure V is keyword is always propel. So as long as you tell me the flagellum or the tail propels the sperm towards the egg, in the oviduct for fertilization. That's all. Okay? Okay, whenever you're ready, you can take out your this repro in humans. The repro in humans is a big chapter, so let's go through. First one again, whenever we learn in reproduction of humans, we need to learn the male and female gametes. So let's learn the structures, make sure that you all know. So you should know the female gamete is also called the ovum. The male gamete, on the other hand, is actually called your this sperm. So let's go through. First structure that you need to take note about your this ovum as well as your this sperm is that ovum and sperm, they both contain this structure. What is it called, Drill? What kind of nucleus is it called? It's like H, because they only contain half the set of chromosomes.
Oh, haploid.
So they all contain what we call haploid nucleus. Okay? Second thing is, your this sperms, let's try. We need to learn similarities and differences between ovum and sperm. Give me the similarity now. Both.
Contain haploid nucleus.
Yes. So again, the similarity between ovum and sperm is that both contain haploid nucleus. 1, 2, 3. I want a 3. First one is what, Stephanie? Both. What is the difference between your this ovum and sperm? One difference is, don't tell me it's the largest and smallest. I know it's a difference, but you tell me another one. So is that? Ovum is what shape? Circular in shape, whereas sperm is externally differentiated into what? If you learn, this is in your table, in your notes on the first page, second column. So its keyword is what? Externally differentiated into what is this called? The 头脑 head, then neck piece or needle piece. Yes, or flagellum. Understand? So it's called externally differentiated. My question is, Desiree, can you tell me, your this head of the sperm, in front of the head, I also contain this thing called the A word. What is it? Yes, I'm thinking of an A word. That secretes enzyme. What is it? You know? Acrosome. What does acrosome do, Desiree?
Secret.
Enzyme to digest what?
The
This structure is called what? Drill? What membrane? Because this is also called a cell membrane. So what membrane is this called? Okay. So this is to digest the outer membrane of your this ovum. Desiree, what does acrosome do?
digest outer
Secret.
secret enzyme to digest the outer membrane of the ovum.
Yes, very good. Next one. Name me another difference between the ovum and sperm.
Sperm is motile.
Well,
Ovum is not.
okay, then the question is, ovum is always released during ovulation, right? Then how does the ovum actually travel along the oviduct so it can be fertilized by the sperm? What do we have? What structures do we have in the oviduct that you also present in your trachea? Ciliary lining. So the ciliary lining upon ovulation will sweep your this ovum along the oviduct for fertilization by your sperm. Understand? Okay. Yes. Motile. What? Sorry?
What's motile?
This is motile.
Like what?
Oh, mobile. Mobile is also another word for motile. Okay? This is not motile. Next one. This one must contain what? Chromosomes. What sex? How many?
2. Wait, 1.
So this must contain one, how many? Again?
X chromosome.
X chromosomes, whereas the sperm contains
Either X or
how many?
1.
Either one X or
1.
Y chromosome. Understand? So remember the 3 main differences. Okay, come let's ask. What is actually the organ that produces the sperm called? Testes. The testis is known as an endocrine and exocrine gland, right? 1, 2. Can you tell me why the testis is known as an endocrine gland? Question, what do you secrete? Remember, got duct or no duct?
No.
So directly into the bloodstream, right? So what do I secrete directly in the bloodstream for testes? A male sex hormone called what? Slide T. Testosterone is secreted. That is the reason why it's an endocrine gland. Make sure you have it. Next one, can you tell me, Drill, why is the testis also known as an exocrine gland? Exocrine got duct or no duct? Have duct. So what am I going to secrete directly into what duct? So the testes secrete what? Sperms directly into what duct? The name? Just like pollen tube nucleus. Sperm duct. So again, why is it known as exocrine gland?
Because it secretes sperm directly to sperm duct.
Yes. Okay, so let's ask. We know the sperms, when it's actually secreted into the sperm duct, they are not yet activated, right? They need to pass through a gland because that gland will secrete a particular fluid known as seminal fluid. What is that gland called? Start with P. Prostate gland. When we secrete prostate gland, the prostate gland secretes what fluid? Again? Can we say the prostate gland secretes semen? Semen is a mixture of your sperms and the seminal fluid, right? But the fluid has three functions, right? 1, 2, 3. First function of the seminal fluid is what? Lubricates what?
Lubricate the vagina.
Yes, to facilitate what? The
Opens
swimming of the
sperm.
towards the egg. So that's the first one, right? Stephanie, what is the second function of the seminal fluid? It will nourish and what? The sperm, because the sperm is not yet activated. Nourish and activates the sperm. Understand? Next one is what? It will protect the sperm of the... Yes, because the urethra contains, since that's a common passageway. Understand? So hopefully you know. Now, however, what is the organ that secretes your this? Again, ovary. Ovary. So the ovary is also known as the endocrine and exocrine gland, right? Explain to me why the ovary is known as the exocrine gland.
It secretes the ovum
Directly into a...
ovary duct. Wait. Hold on.
Oh, what? What did I hear?
Wait, I forgot.
Oh.
Fallopian tube.
Oh sure, fallopian tube also can. Or oviduct, okay? Can you explain to me, Stephanie, why is your this ovary also known as an endocrine gland? Get ready, I want to hear. What? It secretes what? Estrogen and? Directly into the? Okay. So these are the two female sex hormones. This is going to be part of your this menstrual cycle that we need to take note of. Your menstrual cycle always comprises of 4 parts that involves your these 2 types of sex hormones called estrogen and progesterone. So let's go through. Progesterone is secreted something like that. This is my progesterone. The one in blue is actually my estrogen. So I already said for your menstrual cycle, it always comprises of your this 4 stages. First one is called menstruation. So you should know for menstruation is usually from day 1 to about day 5. But usually a different female or different stages. But this is just average. But the next stage, let's ask. Next stage is known as your repair stage. So it's the repair phase where your uterine lining is repaired. But the next stage that we need to take note of is day 14. Day 14 is always known as what phase? Can you tell me, Drea? Yes. So we know day 14 is usually where ovulation occurs. So, however, we also have this thing called the fertile period of the female. What's the fertile period of female if I tell you ovulation is on day 14? Day? No. Day?
Oh, day 11.
2, day?
18.
No. 16. Now, there's standard answer to explain why this is the fertile period of the female. 1, 2. First one, what must you mention? Male gamete can survive for how long in the female reproductive system that you write for exam? Can survive for?
2 days.
No.
Oh.
3 to 5.
Oh, 5.
3 to 5 days in the female reproductive system. That's why do you see I minus 3? Okay, then again, the female ovum can survive for how long upon ovulation? About 2 days. Okay, so how do you end off with? Can you tell me, Desiree? Any?
Sexual intercourse would
During this period can bring about?
fertilization. Oh, pregnancy.
Yes. How do you write for exam again to explain for fertile period? Can you tell me, Jill? Male
Male
sperms can
sperms can survive for 3 to 5 days.
in a female reproductive system. Then female ovum
Can survive for 2 days.
about 2 days upon what?
Ovulation.
So hence, how do you end off? Desiree? Any?
Any sexual intercourse during the ovulation.
This period can bring about ovulation. Okay, now let's ask, if I now tell you that the ovulation period, okay, Stephanie, is on day 12, what will be the fertile period of this female? If ovulation period is on day 12, what will be the fertile period of this female? Day 9? Because you minus what? 3, right? And then plus what? So it's what? Yes. So what do you all start to realize? It can change, because this 14 day, we are always assuming as a standard default for ovulation. But sometimes ovulation period can change, okay? So always tell yourself minus 3 plus 2. Because of just now what you all mentioned. Sperms can survive for 3 to 5 days. Then the ovum can survive for about 2 days. So any sexual intercourse can bring about fertilization. Understand? Okay, so remember, Okay, then we have, next one is this preparation phase for implantation. That means, right, during this period, you can possibly, if there is fertilization that occurs successfully between the sperm and the ovum, we can actually have implantation of your embryo onto your uterine lining. But we learned there are 2 ideal phases or key factors that will allow for more successful implantation of the embryo. 1, 2. First one is what, Stephanie? Oh, levels must be high. Highest. And then next one, can you tell me what's the second factor to allow for more successful implantation of embryo? Uterine lining must be the thickest. Understand? Now, so let's go through how come these 2 sex hormones can allow for these 4 phases of this menstrual cycle. Starting with you. 1, 2, 3. We learn estrogen, right? What's the number 1 factor for estrogen? It will
It will thicken. Go
and
repair
the
uterine lining.
correct. Second one is what? What do we learn? High concentration. Huh? What? What's another factor for estrogen? That's what I'm asking. High concentration of estrogen stimulates one gland that also secretes ADH. Pituitary gland, what hypothalamus? Pituitary gland. So, stimulates to secrete another hormone, don't need to know, right? Agree? That can bring about? Yes, what again? More fluency. High concentration. To secrete hormone. Stimulate. Next one. Question every time I help you. Every time you have 1 menstrual cycle, you're trying to mature how many egg? 1 egg at a time, right? So the follicle cell only want to have 1 mature follicle cell at a time, right? So high estrogen can also inhibit what? Development another follicle cell. So again, it prevents further development of follicle cells. Why? Because females usually we have a fixed number of follicle cells, but since I only want to have 1 follicle cell develop at a time, so that's why again it will inhibit further development of other follicle cells. Next one, 1, 2. This one, I have never mentioned this to you all before. I will make sure that you all write down. But can you tell me first what is the first function of the progesterone? Progesterone is secreted by what? Yes, ovary, right? So what's the first function of progesterone?
Maintain
And
thicken.
no, one thing, I don't want you to write thicken from now onwards. Can you help me change this up? And your progesterone, help me write maintains and further thickens the uterine lining. So I repeat, you will write maintains and further thickens the uterine lining. Okay? Wait, do you end off like that?
No.
Okay, so how do you elaborate with effort? Why must you further thicken the uterine lining? To prepare
For implantation.
of the
The fertilize. For the embryo.
yes, to prepare for implantation of the embryo. They mean the other functions of the progesterone inhibits further and maturation of cells. Okay, because you only want to have one ovulation, you only want to have one mature follicle. Understand? Clear? Question. Jill, can you tell me, is this female pregnant or not?
No.
Why?
Because progesterone level decreases.
Yes, and this is usually by the time you reach day 28, you will start to decrease. That means you can repeat your whole menstrual cycle and you start menstruation again. The question is, what will be the indicating factor if this female is pregnant?
Progesterone levels
And?
remain high. Oh, and
What?
estrogen.
Levels will all both remain high. Agree? Then the question will be, what causes the progesterone levels and the estrogen levels to remain high even after day 28 if there is successful fertilization? Haven't yet. I say successful fertilization. That means maybe on day 28, okay, the embryo still traveling along the oviduct. So what happens? The embryo, right? What do I say? Well, it's the one. So at this stage, let's ask, let's say the placenta has yet to be formed. Which is the organ responsible in producing progesterone and estrogen? Ovary. So what stimulates the ovary to continuously produce progesterone and ovary even after, let's say, this fertilization occur or even after day 28? If let's say the placenta has yet to be formed. Embryo secretes a particular hormone. If you look on your this page 3, on your first column, okay, on your this bullet point 3, do you see embryo secretes a particular hormone? This particular hormone you don't need to know, but it will stimulate this ovary to continuously produce progesterone. Okay, so do you see? I repeat, page 3. Okay, page 3 on Drea, not that one. Page 3. That is first page, second, yes, third page, first column. Okay, do you see bullet point number 3? Embryo secretes a hormone that causes your ovaries to continuously producing progesterone. So my question is, Drea, how come you must signal the ovary to continuously produce progesterone? Why is there a need to signal the ovaries, right, to don't stop producing progesterone after fertilization has occurred?
Because if not, like, the progesterone levels will decrease.
Yes, so why the need to make sure the progesterone doesn't decrease? Because what has yet to be formed? The SIP? Yeah, so you are trying to signal the ovaries to continuously to produce progesterone until the placenta has been formed. Understand? So when the placenta forms, the placenta will be the one responsible in producing progesterone. Clear? Okay, come let's ask. Placenta, is it the same as amniotic sac?
No.
What is placenta?
It's
When the embryo actually implants itself into the uterine lining, the placenta first forms. What is the placenta?
what bloodstream.
You help her.
It's like attached to the
Umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Your head? No. Placenta is the mixture of maternal and fetal blood capillaries. It's not your amniotic sac. It's not your umbilical cord. It's where your uterus is and where your maternal and fetal blood capillaries are located. That is called the placenta. Understand? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Can you tell me what is the functions of placenta besides producing progesterone? First one. Allows.
Exchange of
Correct. Digest.
digested food substances and oxygen
From where to where? From
from the maternal
blood.
blood to fetal
Blood. Correct. If you have that, you also allow for excretory waste products
to diffuse
from.
the fetal blood to the maternal.
Yes. What's another function of your this placenta?
Separate the
So acts as a barrier to separate.
the maternal and fetal blood.
Why? 1, 2. First one. So 1, 2. First one.
To prevent the mixture of maternal and fetal
Why?
blood as it
Due
might
to
have
different?
blood type.
Yes, that can bring about
Agglutination
of red.
of red blood cells.
That is what kind of condition is taking place there?
Tissue rejection.
Yes. What's the second reason why I need to have a barrier between maternal blood and fetal blood?
Because the mother's blood pressure is very high.
Higher than?
The fetal blood,
And that could
which could kill
Damn.
the fetus.
damage
Damage the
T
tissue.
of the fetus. Please take note. Last one. What's the last function? Allows anti to diffuse to protect the fetus against and diseases. That's why you learn there's such thing as COVID babies, right? Agree? It's not that we have COVID-19, they develop antibodies for COVID-19. Okay, can you tell me number 1 function for antibodies? Use this as a recap. So what's the first function of antibodies? Induce
It induces
flow
agglutination
of pathogens
pathogen
to increase rate of.
of phagocytosis.
Okay, with more fluency and charisma. Induce
Induces agglutination
of
of
eh.
pathogen
To.
increase rate of phagocytosis.
Okay, second one.
Confer immunity by remaining in the blood.
Sure. Third one.
Cell lysis of
Bacteria by what? Breaking down the.
cell membrane.
Correct. Last one is act as antitoxin to neutralize toxins produced by your these antibodies. Okay. Now, anyway, so that is your placenta, right? So the one that surrounds your this baby is called the amniotic sac. Understand? Inside the amniotic sac is called the amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid has 3 functions, right? 1, 2, 3. First one is what? What does the amniotic fluid do? It what?
Absorption.
Shock and provides prevents or protects the fetus from
Or mechanical injury.
Yes. You
Lubricates
the
vagina.
during birth.
Birth.
Yes. Next one is what? Because the vagina is also known as the birth canal. So it's what else?
Like it allows the
Fetus to move
and
freely during development. Please note. Okay, so take note about this. Okay, so the things that connects your this placenta towards your fetus is called your umbilical cord. Your umbilical cord got 3 vessels. What are the 3 vessels and what are they called and how many are there?
umbilical artery.
How many?
2,
2 umbilical artery and
1 umbilical.
1 umbilical vein. My question is, umbilical artery transport oxygenated or deoxygenated blood?
Oxygenated.
No.
Oh.
So it's what again?
Deoxygenated.
From where to where?
From the fetus to the mother.
From fetus to mother. Then the umbilical vein transport oxygenated blood or deoxygenated blood?
Oxygenated.
From where to where?
Mother to fetus.
Very good. Next one, can you tell me 2 structure features, 1, 2 between the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery? Umbilical vein and artery. Structural features. What are the difference? Which one? Have and muscular. Always put them side by side. You got elastic and whereas veins have. Very good. Next one is what? Your veins have what? We learn veins always have this. Valves, okay, whereas umbilical arteries, most likely, no valves. Understand? So you also can say veins have what? Larger?
Larger lumen.
Whereas arteries?
Smaller lumen.
Yes, okay? Now, so take note how we know whether a woman is pregnant and not pregnant. Another thing we need to take note of, because in exams, in bio, right, we also need to study the diseases as well as the things of pollutants that can affect fetal development. Okay, so the diseases for human reproductive system is called as this AIDS. AIDS stands for what? Stephanie? Acquired, not auto. So acquired what? Acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Caused by what virus? AIDS caused by AIDS. Hello, caused by what? HIV. HIV stands for what? Human virus. Okay, so my question is, can you tell me the human immunodeficiency virus, how do we actually transmit this virus from an infected person to an uninfected person? Through the thing that I highlight on your third column of your notes, exchange of what? With an infected person. Understand? So again, exchange, how do we transmit HIV from one person to another? Via
exchange of bodily fluids
with
an infected person.
Okay, my question now, can you tell me, since we also study other virus and one other virus is influenza, how do we actually transmit influenza from an infected person to an uninfected person? Via
Aerosol.
droplets when an
Infected person coughs, sneezes, or speaks.
and
The uninfected person inhales.
very good. Next one, naming two symptoms and signs of this person having AIDS. If a person have AIDS.
Get sick.
No shit. Everybody get disease or get sick. So the things that I have is bold and underline down there. First one I bold and underline for signs and symptoms are what? Okay, speaking of pneumonia, now you redeem yourself. Name me another infectious bacteria, okay, that actually will cause pneumonia. Pneumococcus. Tell me how you transmit pneumococcus. Via respiratory secretions, such as what? Mucus. So again, please take note respiratory secretions such as mucus, you can transmit this pneumococcus virus. So both actually can cause pneumonia, right? But is the pneumococcus bacteria the same as your HIV? Satu, dua, tiga. Name me the difference then.
Bacteria has organelles.
Such as the four. Name me the four.
Ribosome. Cell.
What else? Cell.
Cell membrane.
And side.
Cytoplasm.
Where's your virus?
Virus only has nucleus. Oh no.
So virus have any organelles?
No.
No organelles at all. We call it acellular. You.
Can you repeat questions?
Differences between the pneumococcus bacteria and your HIV.
The bacteria can
Contain
DNA or RNA. But never
and both. Bacteria can never both.
Oh, wait.
What you say again? Bacteria can contain
Both
both DNA and
RNA.
while viruses contain
RNA.
either
Oh, either DNA or RNA.
But
Never good.
next one. Viruses require.
Whole cell to reproduce.
Wow.
Bacteria can reproduce asexual.
Yes, asexual reproduction. Understand? Okay, next one. Next one, we need to take note. Kaposi sarcoma. Please also know that it's also another sign and symptoms. What is Kaposi sarcoma? Yeah.
Cancer of the blood vessel.
Yes. Then the other one is for females. It's called ovarian cancer. So please take note about this. Please know how we actually can transmit, okay, and exchange the bodily fluids with an infected HIV positive person. Alright, please at least learn 3. And then again, how we actually prevent the modes of transmission. Also learn at least the top 3. That I have that for you. Now, because we study this repro in humans, we also must study a particular type of pollutant that can cause, okay, and affect fetal development. What is it that I'm referring to? That can also a pollutant that can affect fetal development.
Nicotine.
Yes, which is tobacco smoke. Tobacco smoke causes nicotine, right? Contains nicotine, right? How will nicotine affect the fetus?
Will the bloodstream and the
Okay, so
blood will vasodilatate. Constrict. Vasoconstrict.
vasoconstriction of what?
Artery.
Arterial arteries, so that there's lesser
Blood.
oxygenated
Oxygenated blood.
with oxygen to be transported to the
Fetus.
yes, a placenta and eventually the fetus, alright? So how will this affect fetal development?
Fetus got insufficient.
Nutrients, so you will have faster or slower?
Slower.
Slower. So one way you can say, what about the growth of mass of fetus?
Slower growth.
Decrease. So the birth mass may decrease, slower growth as well. These are things that you need to learn how to say. What about a second pollutant inside your this tobacco smoking that can affect fetus? How? No, it's a gas. Carbon monoxide. What is the main effect of carbon monoxide that we learn for exams? It binds to form, decreasing, therefore decreasing oxygen supply to. What will happen to the fetus? No, you know oxygen. Yes, so the fetus will just die. Understand? So please take note. Okay, so learn the main things about your this repro with humans. Can you help me pass down again? I'm gonna go do one question together with y'all, and then later you all do the respective questions for me. Do you see I have this question 4? Let's do question 4 together. Now in question 4, we have this figure 17.5 shows some stages of the human reproduction process. Let's go through step by step. Now, let's study the diagram first. In the diagram, we have sperm and your ovum for your this question 4. They mentioned how the sperm and ovum will actually fuse, and then later you'll form cell X. What is this cell X referring to, Drea? For question 4. What is cell X referring to, dear? No shit, start with Z.
Oh, zygote.
Yes, so again, this is actually your zygote. My question next. Desiree, do you see how this zygote undergoes this process A to form embryo 2? What is this process more likely describing? Correct, mitosis. So that's why these cells are actually going to form embryo 2, right? This also applies for embryo 1. Notice how embryo 2 and embryo 1 comes from the same zygote. Can I say that this baby 1 and baby 2 are genetically identical to each other? Stephanie? Can. So what kind of twins do you call them? Obviously, identical twins. My question is, if identical twins come from the same embryo, then fraternal twins then? Fraternal twins, are they genetically identical or genetically non-identical? Non-identical. There's such thing as identical twins that come from the same zygote. That means this mother, right, kind of released just one egg, and that one egg is fertilized by one sperm to form one zygote. That zygote by chance split up into 2 zygotes, and this undergoes mitosis separately to form 2 separate embryos. Okay? But fraternal twins are like what? By chance, during the menstrual cycle of this mother, both ovaries produce one egg each. Okay, left and right. So the sperms was fertilize this egg separately, and then fertilization of this egg separately will actually form these two separate zygotes, and the two separate zygotes are genetically non-identical. Because the ovum itself are already non-identical, the sperms itself are also non-identical. Understand? So the random fertilization will be non-identical. Clear? That's why fraternal twins sometimes it can be a male and female born at the same time. Okay? Now, anyway, let's go through this right now. So you should know already for A, again, you want foolscap paper is in front. So cell X you should know is your zygote. Physiological process, which you already mentioned, is mitosis. Now they ask you compare and contrast this process A, mitosis, and the process that takes place to produce sperm. Can you tell me, Stephanie, what are they referring to? What process are they referring to here? What cell division? May. Yo. Yes, okay. I don't know whether I went through this or not. I go through it. Similarities and differences between mitosis and meiosis. Since they are what they're asking. They have actually one similarity, two differences. Oh, many. I mean 4 differences. So again, you can see for mitosis and meiosis, both involve formation of more cells. Okay, let's talk about the difference then. Difference number 1. How many rounds of cell division does mitosis take place? Drea?
Mitosis? 2.
No. 1.
Oh.
You only have 1 cell division per cycle. This one is the one that is 2 cell division per cycle. Okay, next one, mitosis. Form how many daughter cells?
2.
Yes, 2 daughter cells produced at the end of mitosis. And then we have here, how many? 4 daughter cells. Stephanie, do the chromosome number maintain or different for mitosis? Yes. So you can say how chromosome number is maintained. That means the daughter cell have the same exact chromosome number as the parents. As you should know, chromosome number is what, Stephanie? Yes. Another difference, are the cells genetically identical for mitosis?
Yes.
Yes, cells produced are genetically identical. Whereas here, cells produced, are they genetically identical there?
They're dissimilar.
Yeah, genetically non-identical. Understand? Okay, now anyway, can we continue with this question then? So they ask you compare and contrast. Notice how 3 marks. Compare and contrast is always similarities and difference. So 1 similarity, 2 differences, maximum 2 difference, then 3 marks. Clear? Okay, come, let's go through questions. Part C. Desiree, help me. They say the embryos will develop and be born to grown as adults. Suggest one way in which they will be identical to each other and explain your answer.
They will look the same.
Oi, they ask you one way. What do you mean they look the same? How similar or how the same or identical they will look alike? They're born and grown to be adults. They will have the same. Use logic up. What phenotypes will be same?
Oh, eye color.
I will not accept. Why? Yes, by right, eye color should be acceptable. However, one thing I want to mention is, will you try to choose phenotypes of continuous or discontinuous variation? Discontinuous, right? Because continuous, like color, they can change by what? Environmental factors. Agree? So things like skin color, hair color, okay, eye color. Even though by right, eye color, hair color, by right, I should accept, but I try not to accept or write answers that are going to be affected by environmental factors since they are of continuous variation. So I will change by write those that are discontinuous, right? So what can be a discontinuous variation?
Ability to
Gender. Why are you thinking so hard? Gender. What else? Come on, you know.
skin.
What is that?
Blood type.
Yes, blood type, gender, I can accept. Okay, you all know, right? Sometimes if these twins later they separate at birth, then later grow at different places and have different lifestyle, they definitely will have different skin tonality, as etc. Right? So you rather write things that is of discontinuous. Choose answers that confirm is right. Okay, anyway, let's try this. Okay, Stephanie, what P is pointing to? Umbilical vein. Q? Umbilical artery. Now they say state to the two difference in the umbilical vein and umbilical artery. So, Drill, can you tell me what's the first difference? What's the structural difference that we can say differ?
Umbilical vein has a larger lumen.
Umbilical vein has a larger lumen than umbilical arteries. I can accept. What else? Desiree? Umbilical vein has
thinner elastic
and
muscular
walls, while arteries have?
thicker elastic and muscular walls.
Correct. Okay, last one you can say your veins have valves, arteries no valves. Okay? Any two or these three, I will give you the credit. Okay, next one. They say during pregnancy, the umbilical cord for embryo 1 was partially blocked. Suggest how this will affect the fetus compared to embryo 2. Okay, so if embryo 1 is actually partially blocked, how would this affect embryo 2? Stephanie? That means embryo 1, the fetus from embryo 1, that means baby 1, how is it going to be differing from baby 2? Baby 1 will have slower. Okay, so either you can tell me how the first one and the fetus of embryo 1 will actually have slower growth, okay? Or you can say lower mass, alright, than embryo 2. You should know why, right? Because it's receiving less nutrients for fetal development. Agree? So take note. Okay, each one of you will do your respective questions for me to mark. Oh, sorry about the stapling, my bad. Do you see question 5? Drea and Desiree, I want you to do question 5. Stephanie, I want you to do question 7. Sorry about the printing. Once you're done, let me mark. Once you're done, let me mark.
Is there dangers or consequences that the baby might die, or the mother will?
So 2 marks is why? 1 mark for what? Most likely. Mother, how it affect, right? And second mark should be
The fetus.
yellow. How is it affected? So baby obviously will be miscarriage and die, right? Then mother leh, how should she be affected? When the fetus actually grow and develop, what happens to the oviduct?
You burst.
Rupture. Rupture, and then the mother can suffer from or die from excessive
Blood loss.
bleeding. Yeah, sure. Blood loss, I was going to say. Okay? No. Once you're done, let me mark.
Major for A part 2, right? Wait, is my first answer correct?
You need further elaborate? I cannot accept this. Okay, so like what? Again, example, you say prevent agglutination of red blood cells, okay, that can cause tissue rejection due to different blood types. Or you can say the higher blood pressure can damage fetal tissues, things like that. You must give me at least one. Transfer your head. That is not the way I ask you, right? Is to
What's
allow, okay, the exchange of dissolved nutrients and oxygen from mother's blood into fetal's blood. This is not the way I teach you. To be honest, these two are the same. And I already said before, right, the dissolved nutrients and the oxygen as well as the excretory waste products are usually deemed as 1.1. Okay, so kosong. Absorb shock, protects the embryo from mechanical injury. Yep, very good. Semivagina. Vagina is the one below there. That is the opening towards the uterus that is called the C.
Cervix.
Yes. And why do you say U is your OU is your oviduct, correct? I will not accept uterine lining, okay? Because they want structure, so you say uterus. 知道吗? Why do you know? Keyword is, what's the structure in which the embryo will directly implant onto the uterus?
Uterine lining.
Yes, that's the proper one I want. Without my rupture, and mother can die from excessive bleeding. Fetus will die. Oh, no, the idea is fetus will miscarriage and die. Okay lah, but I will give you the credit here. Okay? Now, okay? Done? No, you? Come on, Again. Wait, I forgot to mark your placenta. Oh, yes, correct. Is the... So what will happen? Why do you say the... Hello, the structure M does not need to descend. The structure M have to descend. But you're talking about the testes only, what? So the idea is, okay, they say how will the man be affected? So you use the what? Keyword technique or the overview point technique? Overview point. So what is the main thing? What will happen to the man? Man will become sterile or infertile. And then you elaborate. Because sperms will be off, the testes will be off, same as temperature as body temperature, affecting proper development of sperms. You understand? So I don't want you to say maintain optimal condition. It's very vague. What do you mean maintain optimal? You clearly know it will be higher body temperature already. Understand? So no, I will not accept. Seminal fluid, yes, correct. You say nourishes, activates. Protects sperm again, acidic media and urethra, very good. Lubricates vagina and facilitates swimming of sperm, very good. So what? Is testes affected or not? So you say when sperm duct are cut, testes is not affected, right? I'll give you mark that saying that this can secrete testosterone directly in the bloodstream still, but you must tell me directly that testes is not affected when sperm ducts are cut. Yes, correct. I accept. No need, because you are asking like if you fail to descend. Why do you talk about M for what? Doesn't matter.
You said this structure.
But we are focused on what? The testes ma. So they are asking the question now. If you look what the question is asking. Question is stating that during fetal development, this one L and M will descend. But what if the consequence if fail to descend? Your M, right, again, is it the main structure that we focus on? M is not called your testicles leh. M is your sac leh. I don't care about sac leh. I'm caring about the testicles, right? Because it's the main organ. No, okay, never mind. Get them up. Thank you. Placenta produces progesterone, maintains the uterine lining. Very good. Excess barrier, predicting as agglutination will occur due to different blood types. Agglutination of red blood cells. Can you next time write down this? Okay? Allows antibodies to diffuse to protect fetus from pathogens and disease. Very good. Absorb shock. Prevents. Protects against. Don't say prevent, huh? Okay, good. Don't write structure W because it's not directly structure W. It's where is the embryo implanted.
The uterine lining.
Yes, because the uterus got many layers. Uterine lining is the innermost layer. You understand? So you must mention and specify uterine lining. Alright. This one I will not accept because for this one, number one, you must mention, do you see ectopic pregnancy? How will it affect? So first one, why is it 2 marks? Because how will it affect the mom? Second one is how will it affect the fetus? So imagine if you actually have fetal development, you grow at the oviduct, what happens to the oviduct eventually? Will rupture. And then the mother can die from yes. And then the fetus will get miscarriage and also, that's why it's 2 marks. Okay? Come, can we go through? By the way, can you help me circle this respective question so you can use this as a studying material? Circle question 1C. Circle question 2B and 2C. Circle question 5. A part 2. Circle question 6D part 2. Circle question 7A, 7C, part 1 and part 2. Circle question 9C. And circle question 11B. Okay? Okay, come, let's do question 5 first. First one they ask, where's the placenta? Placenta is this, where you have the mixture of the maternal and the fetal blood. I forgot to mark for yours today, so you make sure you have this. Okay? Next one. Again, they ask, what is the 3 other important? So why do you talk about transport oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood when they say besides the transport of nutrients and excretory waste products? So read the question carefully. Yeah. First one, redeem yourself. What is the first thing the placenta does? Produces.
Progesterone.
Yes, you elaborate, maintain, and thickens.
And thicken the uterine lining.
Correct. Okay, during pregnancy. Okay, so the second one you should know already is what, Stephanie? Acts as a barrier to prevent direct. Why? Because due to maternal blood having the higher blood pressure, which could damage the fetal blood tissues, or you can say it can cause agglutination of red blood cells due to differing blood groups. Okay, during tissue rejection, you have to give me at least one reason when you want to say it acts as a barrier to prevent direct mixing of maternal and fetal blood. Understand? Last one you should know, allows antibodies to diffuse across to protect fetus against infections and diseases. Standard answer. Okay, how is the fetus physically unharmed if a pregnant woman accidentally bumps against a chair? Keyword you should know, they contain what kind of fluid, Stephanie? Amniotic fluid. Keyword you always write, absorb shock and protects against mechanical injury. Next one, part C, identify T to W. So T is actually cervix, okay, W is your uterus, V is your ovary, U is your oviduct. You write fallopian tube, I also will accept. Now state the structure in which the embryo should be implanted for healthy pregnancy. So you should know is, again, uterine lining. I will not accept if you write uterus or structure W. I already say must state, understand? That means the exact name. Next one, explain the dangers and consequences if ectopic pregnancy is left untreated. 2 marks, that means 1 mark why? How it affect the mother, other mark, how it affect the fetus. So again, you should know already, is during fetal development, it may cause rupturing of the mother's oviduct, causing her to suffer or die from excessive bleeding. And then the second thing is how will it affect the fetus. As long as you tell me fetus will become miscarriage and die, I also accept. Okay? Okay, next one. Okay, say for question 7, during fetal development, the M will not descend outside the body. What is the consequence if they fail to descend? So we are focusing on your L, okay, which is your testes. So the first thing is, how do we answer this question? We have to use the overview point technique. So what will happen to the man first? That we can say, Desiree, the man will become sterile. Understand? The man will become sterile, or you can say the man will actually be infertile. That will be your first bullet point. And then the second one is why. You have to write down for me. So write down for me the second bullet point for 7A. Alright, say how testes unable to produce sperms since temperature of testes is same as body temperature. Okay, what's the fluid secreted by the prostate gland, Drea?
Seminal fluid.
Very good. What's the importance of seminal fluid? I'm not going to go through. You should know what's the 3 standard importance already. Next one, I want to go through part C. John considered vasectomy. He's rather hesitant because he feels that surgery will reduce his testosterone levels and cause him to develop female reproductive sexual characteristics. Now, explain why his fear is irrelevant. So again, one thing we need to mention is, will the testes be affected? That is your first overview point technique. So when sperm ducts are cut, what do you say? Testes are unaffected. Okay? And then second bullet point, you tell me again, because they mentioned about testosterone levels, what? So you will say how testes can still produce testosterone and release directly into the bloodstream. So testosterone levels remain unchanged. Okay? Testosterone levels remain unchanged. Clear? Okay, next one. Let's see part C, part 2. So why is this incorrect assumption? Can you tell me? Desiree, suggest? Why? Again, he thinks that going through the surgery will protect against HIV is incorrect. Because how do you transmit HIV? Through exchange of, direct contact of
The
bodily
body
with an
infected individual.
So question is, can they still have direct contact of exchange of bodily, doing exchange of bodily fluids? Yeah, so all you need to tell me is that the HIV can still be transmitted from contact of bodily fluids with an infected person. I will give you 1 mark already. HIV can still be transmitted from contact of bodily fluids from an infected person. Second mark is, again, what are the things that you can provide? Either you tell me abstinence from sex, or you can say wear condoms to prevent direct contact. I will give you the credit already. Clear? Alright, that, I think I end off here today. So I went through all the topics. I went through the main things that you can take note of for reproduction in plants and reproduction in humans. Anything, you can use the rest of the questions I asked you to circle as a revision material. With that, I end off here today.